We're going to go ahead and take a look at questions 61, 64, and 65 from section 11.3, which centers on combinatorics. If you do not have your textbook out, I would suggest that you stop the video and go ahead and get your textbook out and turn to page 708. So basically, the setup of the problem, they provide you 6 different jokes. Some of them have been provided from Socrates, Rodney Dangerfield, Phyllis Diller, Henry Youngman, Rita Rudner, and Woody Allen. So for 61, the question that is posed is how many ways can these 6 jokes be ranked from best to worst? So one of the ideas here is that order is important in this case because we are using those keywords best to worst. So because we're starting to talk about best and worst and we want to organize all 6 of these jokes in a specific order, that means that we're kind of looking at a permutation here. So for 61, if you want to take yourself into this idea of, you're a stage manager at a comedy club and you want to organize these comedians in a certain order, or you want to put these jokes in a certain order, it's going to have an impact on how they're going to be received. If you start with the best, then, you've hooked a lot of the people, and, by the time you get to the worst joke, a lot of people have probably given up and walked out. But you want to kind of go through and ask yourself, okay, for the first choice, I have 6 options. You're going to have people, sift through these 6 jokes and decide, okay, this one is the best of all of them. Then you're going to have them do it again, and this time they have 5 choices to choose from. Then on the third time around, they're going to have 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. So in other words, there are a grand total of 6 factorial ways in order to organize these jokes from best to worst. If you wanted to do this by hand, I would suggest going ahead and coupling them. So 30 times 12 times 2, or 30 times 24, or in other words, 720 ways to order jokes from best to worst. 64, when we take a look at that, the question is asking in how many ways can people select their favorite 2 jokes from these thoughts about marriage and divorce. So again, referring back to the 6 comedians and their quotes. So in this case, if you're just asking them for their 2 favorite, you're not asking them to rank these, you're just asking them to take a look at all 6 and select their 2 favorite. So the first pick doesn't have any more power over the second pick. So what does that tell you? Does order matter in this case? And hopefully you're shaking your head or you're saying to yourself, no, order really doesn't matter as long as they pick their top favorite 2. So because order doesn't matter, we're going to work with a combination. We're going to work with a pool of 6 options, and we're going to pick 2 out of the 6 options. So this means that we will have 6 factorial over 6 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial, which again, if you wish, you can go ahead and expand this out. The numbers aren't too big that you have to worry about, taking up so much space in order to do the expansion. 6 minus 2 factorial is going to be 4 factorial, or 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and 2 factorial is 2 times 1. Now we can go ahead and start cleaning everything out. Well, 4, 3, 2, and 1, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You really can ignore the 1s because of the identity property for multiplication and division. And then we're going to take 2, and we can reduce that with the 6. And when we reduce 6 by 2, we're left with 3. At the very end, that means that we have 3 times 5 left over, or 15 ways that people can select their top 2 favorite jokes from the list of 6 provided. Okay. And finally, number 65. Number 65 reads, if the order in which these jokes are told makes a difference in terms of how they are received. Okay, that's kind of a key phrase. Let that kind of slosh around in your head and kind of think about, does this imply combination or permutation? Is order really important or is it not? We want to know how many ways can they be delivered if Socrates' comments are scheduled first and Dangerfield's joke is told last. So again, if you're this stage manager, you are working with your set of 6 people. We know that Socrates has to happen first, so there's only one option here that can happen. Because if you notice, if you read through those listings of jokes, Socrates only has one in there. Then you also have Dangerfield, and he's supposed to go on last. Also note that there is only one joke in there that is quoted by Rodney Dangerfield. The rest we have options. Now we can decide, all right, how many options do I have if I've used 2 of the 6? I have 4 options left. I have to figure out a way to schedule Henry Youngman, Rita Rudner, Woody Allen, and Phyllis Diller. So I have 4 options of people to put on stage after Socrates, followed by 3 options then 2, then 1. So really, when all is said and done, if we have 1 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 1, well, really, another way that we can do this is we can just say that this is 4 times 3 times 2. We know what happens with numbers whenever we multiply them by 1. This would become 12 times 2, or 24 ways to create this set list, given the restriction that Socrates has to go first and Dangerfield has to go on last. Okay, so these are the 3 solutions. If you have any other questions, please let me know.